When most people hear that the Bank of Canada is cutting or holding interest rates, they immediately think one thing: good, life should get easier now. And as of the bank's March 18th, 2026 decision, the policy rate is 2.25%, with the next scheduled rate announcement set for April 29th, 2026. But here's the problem. Most people hear a number like that in the news and assume it automatically means cheaper life, less stress, and better finances. That is not how it works. A lower rate can help some people, hurt others, and confuse almost everyone. So in this video, let's break down what Bank of Canada rate decisions actually mean for your money in simple language, so you know what to do instead of just reacting to headlines. First, let's understand what this rate really is. The Bank of Canada sets something called the policy interest rate, also known as the overnight rate. This is not the exact rate you personally pay on your mortgage, your line of credit, or your credit card. And it is not the exact rate you earn in your savings account either. Think of it as the base signal for the whole financial system. It influences what banks charge, what lenders offer, and how expensive or cheap money feels across the economy. So when this rate moves, it creates a ripple effect. That ripple can eventually reach your mortgage, your savings, your investments, and even the housing market. Now here's where people get it wrong. They hear that rates are lower than before, or that cuts happened earlier, and they think they are suddenly winning financially. They think this is the moment to relax. Maybe they feel like they can finally spend more, upgrade the car, stretch for a bigger apartment, take on a larger mortgage, or stop worrying about debt. But that mindset can be dangerous, because rate changes do not magically fix bad money habits. They only change the environment. And if your habits stay weak, your finances can still fall apart, even in a lower rate world. Let's start with debt, because this is where many people feel the impact first. If you have variable rate debt, rate cuts or lower policy rates can help you more directly. A variable mortgage, a line of credit, or certain business loans may become cheaper over time as lenders adjust their rates. That can mean less interest, lower payments, or more breathing room in your monthly budget. And that sounds great, but here is the trap. Breathing room is only helpful if you use it wisely. If you take that extra space and immediately spend it on lifestyle upgrades, you have learned nothing. You are still living too close to the edge. You just have a slightly softer cushion before the next mistake hits. This is exactly how many people stay broke, even when conditions improve. They do not use lower rates to strengthen their finances. They use lower rates to justify more spending. They tell themselves, "My payments feel easier now, so I can afford more." That sentence has destroyed a lot of financial progress. Because what usually happens next? The person takes on more obligations, increases monthly costs, and becomes dependent on good conditions continuing forever. Then one surprise expense, one job issue, one emergency, or one future rate change hits, and the whole system starts breaking again. So if lower rates help your debt payments, the smart move is not to celebrate too early. The smart move is to ask, can I use this moment to pay debt down faster? Can I improve cash flow without increasing lifestyle costs? Can I become harder to break? That is the better question. Because real financial progress is not about whether rates are high or low. It is about whether your system works in both environments. Now let's talk about savers, because this is where the story changes. Lower rates are not always good news if you are holding a lot of cash. When rates fall or stay lower, savings accounts and short-term guaranteed products often become less rewarding. So, if you were enjoying decent interest on your emergency fund, that return may not stay as attractive forever. Your money is still safer there, but it may grow more slowly. And that can feel frustrating, especially when everything around you is still expensive. This is why people who only save in cash often feel stuck. They are doing the safe thing, but the growth can be limited, especially after inflation quietly eats into the value of that money over time. And that brings us to inflation, which is the part many people ignore. Even when rates come down, groceries do not suddenly become cheap. Rent does not magically fall. Insurance does not suddenly become friendly. Bills do not disappear just because the central bank changed a number. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings people have. They think lower rates automatically mean affordability is fixed. But affordability is about much more than one rate decision. Your real life depends on your income, your spending, your debt, your habits, and the prices you face every week. So even in a lower rate environment, people can still feel squeezed if their financial system is weak. Now let's move to investing, because this is where people get emotional. When rates are lower, many investors start feeling optimistic. Stocks can look more attractive than cash. Borrowing conditions may improve, businesses may get a little more room to operate, and people start thinking this is the moment to jump into the market aggressively. But again, this is where people confuse news with strategy. Lower rates are not a signal to suddenly become reckless. They are not a reason to chase random hot stocks, gamble on hype, or pretend you can predict the next winner. If you are investing for the long term, the smartest move is usually the least exciting one. Stay consistent. This is especially true if you are already doing something simple like investing monthly into broad ETFs. People always want the dramatic answer. They want the secret move. They want the perfect timing. But most wealth is not built through dramatic moves. It is built through consistency, through staying invested, through continuing when things feel boring, through not changing your entire plan every time a headline appears. Lower rates may change how different assets are viewed, but they do not change the core truth that discipline usually beats prediction. For home buyers, rate decisions can feel like hope. And to be fair, lower borrowing costs can help. They can improve affordability on paper. They can reduce monthly mortgage pressure for some buyers. They can make the numbers look a little easier. But there is another side to this. When borrowing gets cheaper, more buyers often come back into the market. And when more buyers come back, competition can rise again. So lower rates do not automatically mean homes become easy to buy. In some cases, they simply bring more people into the fight for the same properties. That means the emotional idea of, I'll just wait for rates to drop and then everything will work out, is not really a full strategy. That is why the average Canadian needs a smarter approach. Instead of asking, are rates up or down, ask, what does this change for me personally? If you have high interest debt, maybe this is a time to attack it harder. If you have variable debt, maybe you use any relief to improve your balance sheet instead of your lifestyle. If you are a saver, maybe you accept that cash is for safety, not high growth. If you are an investor, maybe you stay steady instead of trying to outsmart the market. If you are planning to buy a home, maybe you focus less on headlines and more on whether you are truly ready financially. And that is really the heart of this whole conversation. Most people treat central bank decisions like entertainment. They watch the headlines, react emotionally, and then go back to the same habits. But the people who actually get ahead do something different. They translate the news into action. They look at debt, savings, investing, and spending honestly. They adjust. They become more intentional. They do not expect the economy to save them. They build a system that works whether rates are high, low, or somewhere in between. So what should you do from here? Keep it simple. Do not build your life around headlines. Reduce the debt that hurts you the most. Keep your emergency fund even if the return feels boring. Stay consistent with long-term investing. Avoid using temporary relief as an excuse to take on permanent expenses. And most importantly, stop believing that one rate decision will change your whole life. It won't. Your habits will. Because in the end, rate cuts do not create wealth. Rate hikes do not destroy disciplined people. Conditions matter, yes. But behavior matters more. The people who win with money are usually not the ones who react fastest to the news. They are the ones who stay calm, think clearly, and make better decisions when everyone else is distracted. So the next time you hear a headline about the Bank of Canada, don't just ask whether rates went up or down. Ask what it means for your debt, your savings, your investing, and your plan. That one shift in thinking can put you ahead of most people. Thanks for watching Maple Money Mindset. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more simple and practical content like this.